Can you imagine a world without gender? Pause for a moment and let that question sink in. What would it look like, this world devoid of gender? What implications would it have on the way we live, the way we interact with each other, and the way we perceive ourselves? We're not talking about erasing identities here. No, this isn't about taking away something that many people hold dear. This is about exploring a hypothetical scenario, a world where the concept of gender doesn't exist at all. In such a world, when a baby is born, they are not labeled as a boy or a girl. They are simply a human being, a new life brimming with potential and possibilities. As they grow up, they are not molded by gender norms or expectations. They are free to express themselves in any way they choose, free to pursue any interest or career without facing any gender-based obstacles. Think about societal structures. In a world without gender, would we still have gender-based discrimination? Would we still have unequal pay or the concept of men's work and women's work? Without the concept of gender, these disparities could cease to exist. What about interpersonal relationships? Without gender, the dynamics of these relationships could fundamentally change. Without preconceived notions of how someone should behave based on their gender, individuals would interact based on their personalities, their interests, and their shared experiences. Of course, this is all hypothetical. We live in a world where gender is deeply ingrained in our societies, in our cultures, in our very identities. But it's an interesting thought experiment, isn't it, to imagine a world where every individual is seen first and foremost for their personality, their skills, and their contributions. A world where your worth as a person isn't determined by your gender, but by who you are as an individual. In such a world, every individual would be seen for their personality, skills, and contributions, rather than their gender. Let's take a look at the world we currently live in. It's a world that is still heavily influenced by traditional gender norms, stereotypes, and biases. From the moment we are born, societal expectations are placed upon us based solely on our assigned gender. These expectations dictate how we should dress, behave, and even the roles we should play in society. These norms have been so deeply ingrained in our society that they can be difficult to challenge and even harder to break free from. They have become the invisible guidelines that we are expected to follow, creating a distinct divide between what is considered masculine and feminine. But what about those who don't fit into these rigid categories? What about those who identify as non-binary? For them, navigating a world dictated by binary gender norms can be a constant struggle. They are often misunderstood, marginalized, and even stigmatized for not conforming to societal expectations. This can result in a myriad of challenges, from discrimination and exclusion to mental health issues. It's not uncommon for non-binary individuals to face rejection from their families, bullying in schools, and discrimination in the workplace. They're often pressured to hide or suppress their true selves to avoid these challenges, leaving them feeling unseen and unheard. Moreover, these norms perpetuate gender inequality, reinforcing harmful stereotypes that limit people's potential and opportunities. They create an environment where women are often underestimated and objectified, while men are pressured to suppress their emotions and be overly competitive. This not only impacts individuals, but also contributes to a society that is unequal and divided. This is the world we live in, a world where gender norms and stereotypes still hold a powerful influence over our lives. It's a world that can be restrictive and oppressive, particularly for those who don't fit into the traditional gender binary. The current reality is far from the genderless world we imagined earlier, isn't it? We have a long way to go, but with understanding, acceptance, and action, we can move towards a more inclusive and equal world. We have stories to share, stories of those who live outside the binary gender norms. Let's start with Alex. Alex identifies as non-binary. They grew up in a small town where everyone knew everyone else. For Alex, understanding their identity was a journey. It was a path filled with confusion and self-doubt, but also resilience and self-discovery. They faced the challenges of a binary world head-on, refusing to confine themselves within the traditional boxes of male or female. Instead, they chose to live authentically, embracing their non-binary identity. Then there's Charlie. Charlie is genderqueer, a term that encapsulates the fluidity of their gender identity. Charlie's story is one of courage. They had to face the prejudice and misunderstanding of those around them, even their loved ones. Yet Charlie continued to live their truth. They taught their community about the spectrum of gender identities, educating them that gender isn't as simple as either or. We also have Taylor's story. Taylor identifies as a gender, meaning they don't identify with any gender at all. They've faced their share of challenges, often feeling invisible in a world that insists on categorizing people. But Taylor has found strength in their identity. They've found comfort in knowing they're not alone, connecting with others who understand their experience. And finally, we have Jordan. Jordan is big-ender, identifying with both male and female genders. Jordan's story is one of balance. They faced the challenge of feeling misunderstood, of not fitting neatly into one category or the other. But Jordan has learned to navigate this, finding a balance that feels true to them. Each of these stories is unique, yet they all share common threads. They're stories of struggle and triumph, of courage and resilience. They're stories of individuals living their truth in a world that often struggles to understand them. These stories show us the strength of the human spirit and the desire to live authentically. Equality has benefits that reach far beyond the individual. Let's delve into the idea of a world where everyone is treated equally regardless of gender. It's a world where creativity is not stifled by societal norms or gender expectations. Imagine the diverse array of ideas that could flourish when everyone is free to express themselves without fear of judgment or criticism. In this world, creativity is not confined by gender norms, but instead it thrives, painting a vibrant picture of human ingenuity and imagination. Mental health, too, can see a significant improvement in a society that champions equality. The pressures and confines of gender roles can often lead to stress, anxiety, and other mental health issues. In a genderless society, these pressures are alleviated. Individuals are free to express themselves authentically without the fear of societal backlash. This freedom can result in improved mental health as individuals are able to live openly and honestly, unburdened by the constraints of gender norms. A society that embraces equality, that values all its members equally, is a more inclusive society. In a world without gender, there are no barriers to participation. Everyone has an equal opportunity to contribute, to be heard, to be valued. This inclusivity fosters a sense of belonging and acceptance, making society a more harmonious place to live. And what about the amplification of these benefits in a genderless society? Well, when we remove the concept of gender, we remove the barriers that come with it. The benefits of equality, such as increased creativity, improved mental health, and greater inclusivity, could potentially be amplified in a world without gender. We could see a society where everyone is free to be themselves, unencumbered by societal expectations or norms. In this world, the benefits of equality are not limited to the individual. They ripple outwards, creating a society that is more creative, healthier, and more inclusive. A world without gender could potentially enhance the benefits of equality even further. How do we move towards a world that respects and acknowledges all identities? Well, it's simpler than you might think, and it starts with each one of us. It's about the decisions we make, the words we use, and the actions we take. It's about recognizing that gender is not binary, but a spectrum, and that everyone has a right to identify as they feel most comfortable. Education is the cornerstone of this journey. It's about understanding that gender is a social construct and that it can be fluid. It's about learning to respect and acknowledge all identities and about teaching others to do the same. We need to incorporate this understanding into our schools, our workplaces, and our homes. We need to challenge the norms that have been ingrained in us and open our minds to the diverse identities that exist. But education is not enough. We need empathy and understanding. We need to listen to the stories of non-binary individuals to understand their experiences, their struggles, and their triumphs. We need to honor their courage to live authentically and support them in their journey. Communities and societies also play a crucial role. They need to foster an environment of inclusivity and acceptance. They need to implement policies that protect the rights of all individuals, irrespective of their gender identity. They need to provide resources and support for those who are struggling with their identity or facing discrimination. We need to celebrate diversity, not fear it. We need to understand that it's our differences that make us unique, that add color and richness to our world. We need to embrace these differences, not shun them. And finally, we need to remember that change takes time. It's not an overnight process, but a gradual one. It requires patience, persistence, and a lot of courage. But every step we take, every mind we open brings us closer to that world of equality and acceptance. The path towards a gender-equal world is long and challenging, but it is a journey worth embarking on. Are you ready to step up and join the journey towards a gender-equal world? This journey is not just for those who identify as non-binary or gender diverse, it's for everyone. Each one of us has a role to play, and it starts with simple steps. One such step is staying informed and spreading awareness. By hitting the like button, you're not just showing your support for this video, but for the entire cause. It's a small gesture, but it sends a powerful message. It tells the world that you stand for equality, that you believe in a world where everyone is free to be who they are. And by subscribing to our channel, you're ensuring that you stay updated with all our content. You're ensuring that you're a part of the conversation, that you're a part of the change. So hit that like button, subscribe to our channel, and join us in this journey. Let's create a world that respects and acknowledges all identities, a world that celebrates diversity. Remember, every voice matters, every action counts. Together we can make a difference. Together we can make a change.